The Philippines has more flavors than it has islands, and that's saying a lot when there's over 7,000.
All Filipino food is a fusion of flavors. Take adobo, for example. So many different flavors involved to make that taste of comfort.
Because the only thing Pinoys love more than eating is making other people eat.
Before we start, I want to greet everyone a magandang buhay and a happy morning. I hope everyone is feeling well and safe. My name is Kaintura Angeles, a fifth-year architecture student from the Technological Institute of the Philippines, Quezon City, and I am here to present my architectural capstone design project entitled Kaintura, a proposed Filipino cuisine museum, a historical food museum showcasing different flavors of the Filipino food culture through interactive architecture. According to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, as global tourism is on the rise and competition between destinations increases, unique local and regional intangible cultural heritage become increasingly the discerning factor for attraction of the tourists. The project is a Filipino cuisine museum named Kaintura, which is a combination of the word kain, which means to eat, and tura, from the word kultura. The food museum creates an environment in which visitors can experience the pleasures of Filipino cuisine while ensuring that the country's rich cultural heritage and culinary traditions will be preserved for the future generations. Instead of static exhibits, the concept will provide a design that is interactive and adaptable to programs and activities. The program will emphasize the art of storytelling through a series of workshops, library, theatrical plays, recreational activities, traditional food restaurants, and souvenir shops. The main attraction of the museum will showcase history of Filipino cuisine, foods from different regions in our country, and the foods that are influenced by the colonizers and traders mainly in Spain, Japan, China, and America. It will also focus on the Filipino taste and food issues in the countries.
According to the tourism department, the industry is one of the hardest hit during the global pandemic as governments impose travel restrictions.
Admittedly, Jeff, kami yung talagang pinaka-natamaan turismo.
To begin with the problem, based on the data gathered from the Department of Tourism in 2011 to 2015, the number of visitors in the Philippines grew. According to Cordero in 2021, in contrast to the 8,260,913 foreign arrivals in 2019, the Philippines only welcomed 1,323,956 visitors from the outside in the year 2020. This just states that the existence of COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in a significant shift in the demand for the tourism in the country. According to the Philippines Culinary Tourism Industry Outlook in 2022, a lack of awareness of the country's tourism spots, government initiatives, and other factors drove the market down. Going to the figure, this figure is from a survey conducted by YouGov in 2019, derived over 25,000 participants from 24 countries who were questioned if they tried and liked 34 cultural cuisines. Unfortunately, among the cuisine surveyed, Filipino food is one of the least endeared. Filipino food tied with Arabian food for the second least popular cuisine with an average participation rate of just 36%. Also, Japanese is the least impressed, having only 21% of them that like Filipino cuisine. Moving on with the tables are some of the identified museums in the Philippines and Quezon City with their classifications, showing that there's a lack of institutional development that focuses on understanding the history and culture of Filipino cuisine and gastronomy. Identifying these problems will help the proponent to provide architectural innovations for the project. First is, what institution or facility is capable of preserving the rich culture, history, and tradition of the Filipino cuisine and gastronomy? Second, what will be the implication of having a food museum in addressing the demand of food tourism in the country? Third, how can an interactive architecture be implemented in the proposed project that aims to boost the food tourism in the country? Now that we have figured out the problems, we will go to the project objectives. The proposed project aims to provide a historical museum in Metro Manila that is integrated with food-based walking tour wherein people will have knowledge about the history and evolution of Filipino cuisine through an interactive design. The following are the objectives of the project. First, to design a must-see destination. This can be accomplished through character development, architectural design and form, natural features, special traditional events and programs, or a combination thereof. Second is to have a large scale and a critical mass of attractions. Third is to combine high technology with human scale and quality service. This will incorporate interactive architecture to the project. Fourth is to promote the identity of Filipino cuisine, culture, and tradition. Lastly, to help the government in boosting the tourism in the Philippines by creating a well-designed and world-class tourist attraction. For the chosen client of the Filipino Cuisine Museum, the main client will be the Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority or the CHEZA. It acts as the Department of Tourism's implementing arm in providing support infrastructures and facilitating investments in tourism enterprise zones nationwide. Tourism development partners are recruited by designating, regulating, and supervising TEZs nationally. The CHEZA finances tourism projects, activities, and programs. The supporting client for the project is the National Commission for Culture and the Arts or the NCCA. It is a Philippine government organization responsible for preserving, growing, and promoting arts and the culture. It also manages the National Endowment Fund for Culture and the Arts or the NEFCA. It is a fund for cultural and creative undertakings in the country. For the selection of the site, National Capital Region is where the Philippines' culture, economy, education system, and government are centered. The region is a global power city because it influences business, finance, media, art, fashion, research, technology, tourism, education, and entertainment locally and globally. Quezon City is the most populated city in the country with 3,198,926 residents according to the 2022 census. Also, the city is home to the headquarters and studios of major broadcasting networks and is known for its politics, tourism, art, sports, commerce, education, research, and technology. In terms of tourism and education, the city has 25 existing museums and galleries composing of 16 private museums and 9 public museums. A good number of 159 schools in the city with about 431,434 students as of 2020 and 36 private universities and colleges that offers tourism and culinary is an important factor on the project. The site is a pleasant walk ahead for those who reside in the nearby residential districts. Going deeper, the chosen site is located in Old Balara, Quezon City, with a lot area of 3.89 hectares. It is a corner lot situated along a major road, the Commonwealth Avenue, which is the widest road in the Philippines, and the Villa Ballester Street. Despite of the commercial zoning classification, based on the proponent's interview with the Quezon City Planning and Development Office and the city's comprehensive zoning ordinance of 2016, it have stated that the site can function as an institutional zone and can be erected with an institutional facility. The main road gives access to PUVs such as buses, jeepneys, taxis, and FX, while the minor road gives access to the small delivery trucks, private vehicles, and tricycles. Sidewalks are also accessible for the pedestrians, and an overpass is located in front of the site for the access of pedestrians from the other side of the road. Moving forward with the SWOT analysis, the site is easily accessible by vehicles and pedestrians, which is perfect for the project since visitors can drop by. The site also has essential services like electricity, water, and communication. Another asset for the project is its location on Novaliches clay or adobe loam. It is the best soil type for construction due to its optimal combination of silt, sand, and clay. It blends the finest of all their traits into an ideal balance for a foundation. Lastly, the site is distant from the West Valley Fault. Contrary to its strengths, the property is prone to noise and air pollution due to its location along a busy road and commercial establishments. Some residential structures are located at the back of the site. Noise barriers like acoustic materials and existing trees are an excellent technique for the weaknesses. As for the opportunity, it will raise the city's tourism demand which aims to conserve and develop cultural identity. As the pandemic hits the country's employment rate worst, job opportunities will be available. The site's proximity to schools and hospitals is also an advantage. Natural calamities such as earthquakes, floods, and typhoons are threats to the project. Also, vehicular flow may be affected by congestion given that it's along the busy road. These are the nearby establishments or facilities within the site. Matandang Balara Barangay Hall, Villa Beatriz Barangay Matandang Balara, Toyota Commonwealth, Yokohama Commonwealth, General Malbalar Hospital, Commonwealth Home Depot, and Diliman Doctor Hospital. Moving to the building systems, The environmental systems for the project are solar panels, which utilize one of the nature's most potent and cost-free resources, the energy generated by the sun. South-facing surfaces are typically the best orientation for the solar panels. Green roofing systems outlast conventional roofs in terms of durability and cuts down on energy costs due to its natural insulation. It also enhances air quality and aid in lowering the urban heat island effect. Rainwater harvesting is also present, which gathers runoff from a building or other impervious surface in order to store it for later use like irrigation, tap water, toilets, water features, and etc. Skylights and louvers are also present for the natural lighting and ventilation of the project. Going on the structural systems, composite construction and isolated footings will be used. Composite construction possesses increased strength, aesthetics, and environmental sustainability. Concrete is good in compression and steel is good in tension. By joining the two materials together, structurally, these strengths can be exploited to result in highly efficient and lightweight design. The project will also make use of the grease trap system and water treatment plant for the planning system. Material recovery facility, air handling units, generator system, machine roomless elevators, and commercial kitchen systems are the utility and mechanical systems that will be used for the project. For the fire protection, active fire protection systems are used to detect smoke or heat that will activate extinguisher systems and alert building occupants, while the passive fire protection systems are the building components used to contain or reduce a fire. Examples are gypsum boards and insulated concretes. Acoustic and lighting system are also present for the utilization of proper sound and lighting for the project. For the case studies, the researcher came up with 5 food and interactive museums or art galleries locally and globally. The local studies are the Desert Museum in Pasay and the Mine Museum in Taguig. The Desert Museum is a place with giant static exhibits of desserts and sweets in all sides of the room. Though the Desert Museum is a food museum, it only focuses on desserts and not able to provide knowledge about the Filipinos' rich heritage in food gastronomy. The Mind Museum is an interactive science museum in the Philippines. This inspired the project on integrating an interactive design in the museum also with its sustainable features. The 3 foreign case studies are the Wonder Food Museum in Malaysia, Museum Kimchikan in South Korea, and the Cup Noodles Museum in Japan. All these are interactive museums and food-related which showcase cuisine from their countries. Here are the development controls within the site that is computed based on the National Building Code of the Philippines. The tables shown in this section are the summary of the space programming per building and the computed required parking space depending on the building's specific use based on the National Building Code of the Philippines and BP 344 or the Accessibility Law, having 327 parking slots and 8 PWD parking slots. For the user analysis, since the project is a museum, everyone can be considered as a user or a patron. It will just vary on the space that the museum will provide. The primary users of the project are the students, field trip tours, and employees. The secondary users are the residents of Quezon City and foodies or the vloggers. The tertiary users are the local and foreign tourists. Shown are the space analysis on the administration building from ground to second floor and the spaces by floor of the Kaintura Food Museum. On the ground floor of the museum, it will showcase the Exhibit Hall 1, which shows the history of Quezon City. Located on the second floor are the Exhibit Hall 2, the Philippine food history, which is divided into 4, the Spanish, Japanese, American, and Chinese tastes. Exhibit Hall 3, the food regions, is also located at the second floor, which is divided into 3 categories: the Luzon's finest, Visayas' finest, Mindanao's finest. Lastly, the third floor shows the Exhibit Hall 4, the food tastes, which is divided into 5 areas: the alat, tamis, asim, pait, and anghang. Exhibit Hall 5, the Pinggang Pinoy, is also at the third floor, which tackles the food pyramid and the Go, Grow, and Glow. Here is the space analysis for the Likhang Kamay or the workshop zone where activities will be enjoyed by the visitors. Located here are the Cusine factory where visitors will appreciate Filipino food by being taught how it's cooked, the art or paint room, and the food making section. Also shown is the space analysis for the Aklatang Cocinero or the library. This is for the visitors who want to learn more about Filipino cuisine and gastronomy. Market stores, souvenir shops, restaurants, and food tenants are located at the pasalubong liwan or the commercial building of the project. Lastly are the space analysis for the Tanghalang Pista or the theater building and the maintenance facility building. For the project, the researcher has provided bubble diagrams mainly for the site, administration building, and the food museum. Here are the bubble diagram for the library, commercial building, theater, and the workshop zone. These are the space matrices for the buildings. The design approach for the project is interactive architecture. It looks into new architectural practices that try to combine digital technologies and virtual spaces with real and tangible space experiences. According to Mojtaba et al. In 2016, one of the essential criteria of interactive architecture is the capacity for collaboration as well as the ability to collaborate, and on the basis of this requirement, users, clients, and citizens all take part in the design process. The design philosophy of the researcher is architecture is the main recipe for the Filipinos' best tasting gastronomy. The rationale for the proponent's philosophy demonstrates how the project is likened to a main recipe in a dish. The museum will add flavor to the rich heritage of Filipino cuisine and provide individuals with excellent food. Food shapes Filipino culture. The treasured moments shared with others make the Filipino cuisine even more special. Food brings together foreigners, friends, and families of all backgrounds. Birthday parties, anniversaries, and casual get-togethers are examples. Asians generally share this value, but Filipinos take it to a whole new level. In this sense, the idea of connecting building through links and bridges was adapted from the interconnectedness that the food is providing Filipinos and other groups. Design considerations comprise of the following: accessibility, acoustics, aesthetics, artificial lighting, circulation, functionality, interactivity, natural lighting, security, and sustainability. The architectural character of the project will be contemporary architecture. It will also feature innovations like interactive exhibits and models, life-size and real-life displays, digitally interactive walls, and 3D hologram projections. The following materials will be used for the flooring, ceiling, interior and exterior walls, window, and outdoor finishes. For the Filipino Cuisine Museum, the proponent did a 17-line cost analysis that has totaled to a development cost of 2,586,375,708 pesos. This is the demand analysis for the 34 primary students in Quezon City with ages ranging 3 to 5 years old that are expected to visit daily, while 66 elementary students with ages ranging from 6 to 11 years old are expected to visit daily. This is the demand analysis for the secondary students with 70 expected visitors daily and 54 tertiary students. Lastly, this is the demand analysis for the projected population for the residents of District 3, where Matandang Balara is situated. 70 residents are expected to visit daily from the district. Since the District 3 is located in Quezon City, it will be subtracted from the expected daily users in Quezon City, which results to 345 expected daily users from the city. For the local and domestic travelers, the computed daily users are 46 visitors. In summary, there will be a 685 expected number of visitors daily. For the profit breakdown, the researcher computed for the annual income of 235,081,440 pesos from the educational and recreational buildings, which are the museum, library, workshop zone, and theater. This is solved by getting the monthly income for the normal and peak season. The annual income for the commercial building is also computed with a total of 297,483,264 pesos, and 4,636,800 pesos is the annual income for the parking spaces. The return of investment is computed by dividing the total development project cost, which is 2,586,375,708 pesos, to the total annual income of the project, which is 537,201,504 pesos. The expected result of the return of investment is 4.81 years. Shown is the initial schematic and axonometric plan of the proposed Filipino Cuisine Museum in Matandang Balara, Quezon City. That is all for my presentation. Thank you very much for watching and listening.